So welcome everyone to the Coaches Networking event today. And I just want to give everyone just a moment to get connected, get their audios up and going. We'll get started in just a second. Okay, it looks like we've got almost everybody on already, so we'll go ahead and get started. Welcome everybody to tonight's Coaches Networking event. My name is Monica Lee, and I am just kicking off this networking event to go over some rules of engagement. So we ask that everybody keep their camera on. We all know that it's difficult to speak to a screen full of black boxes. And, oh, it looks like somebody else is sharing their screen. Sorry, Audrey, I'm gonna go ahead and take that back, all right?
Okay, what did I do?
You just started sharing your screen.
Oh, no. No. No.
Sorry, and secondly, I just wanted to let everybody know that this meeting is recorded, so will be available for reviewing later on. Okay. So back to the rules of engagement. Just letting everybody know that we've got a great lineup of speakers today. We're very thankful that they're giving us their time and sharing their knowledge with us. And as we all know, it's hard to speak to a screen full of black boxes. So we really encourage everybody to turn your cameras on. Don't worry, we love seeing your bright and shining faces, no matter what they look like, no matter what your hair looks like. But it'd be great to see your faces and have great conversations with you. And secondly, we ask that you keep yourself on mute. At times, we may invite you to come off of mute and add to the discussion or ask questions. At that time, please feel free to unmute yourself and join the conversation, but otherwise, please stay on mute. And then lastly, we invite you to use the chat box for any questions that you may have for the speakers or for anybody or the general discussion. We ask that you use the chat box so as not to interrupt the flow of the speakers' presentations, but we will get to the chat box and address any questions there at the specified times. And at this point, I'd like to hand it off to Sandy Rios to kick us off.
Hi, good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us tonight. I'd like to share a few exciting things happening with USTA. In November, we are celebrating 10 Days of Thankfulness. We would like you to share a thankful thought about twirling. Check out the USTA Facebook for all the details. December 2nd, we're going to have a Strut webinar on the progression of Strut. Again, you will be able to register for this event and you'll find all the details on social media and coming out in the USTA Inside Loop. December, we have the Holiday Extravaganza. It's going to be an old-time holiday event. We'll be asking for video performances to help us celebrate the holidays. The show will air on December 22nd. Videos are due by December 13th. And then lastly, on December 18th, we have a professional holiday party hosted by the Coaches Department. Raise your baton. So lots of great things happening for the month of November and December, and we hope you'll join us. All right, I'd like to turn tonight's program back over to Thomas.
Thank you very much, Sandy, and welcome everybody. We're really glad that you're here. Thank you very much for taking time out of your day to attend. We have had 3 meetings now of the Coaches Network, and it's a good time to tell you not only about tonight's agenda, but also a little bit about where we're going. We may very well see Shannon Barker appear while I'm talking, And if so, we're just going to switch over to her because she's actually at the studio tonight and we'll use her time as efficiently as we can. She's going to be appearing at the beginning of our meeting and then a little bit later at the end of our meeting. I'll explain. You've just heard from Sandy, and this evening's presenters, all volunteer presenters, all USTA members, will include Shannon Barker, a longtime teacher, coach, longtime athlete, movement teacher, and she'll be presenting a little actual lesson for us to look at and a few things that she does as parts of that lesson. Paige Campbell, who is the director of the Valley Baton Club, will join us and we'll talk a little bit about keeping it real during these times. And we look forward very much to that. And also Monica, who you just saw, will come back a little bit later and will actually take us on a guided tour and share a specific resource with us, as well as some information. We began these a few months ago, and really with the intention of wanting to support new coaches, especially during this time, but at any time, wanting to help them engage with the world of baton twirling and develop a successful business as well. And we've had great help and assistance along the way. We're also looking at a mentoring program to complement the mentoring program that goes on within the Judges Department as well. Mentoring has been an important part of people's lives and careers recently, and we wanted to provide a means for experienced coaches to share their wisdom and to answer questions directly put to them by coaches without that much experience and who wanted to learn. And so we are going to move towards that with our next month's meeting on December 8th, which will be the next Coaches Network meeting. We'll be inviting coaches of all experience levels to attend the meeting, and specifically with the topic of mentoring. And I don't believe that we'll go through the actual logistics that night, but I think we'll hear a little bit about mentoring and a little bit about what the possibilities are within United States Twirling Association. Jackie Stewart has graciously agreed to share a little bit about mentoring with us, just as a general topic, and we'll also have some other information shared at that time. Let me interrupt myself and ask Sandy to maybe text Shannon and see.
She's on.
I'm here.
She's on. Great.
She's on.
I'm so sorry I couldn't see her. Shannon, take over, please.
Okay, great, because they are making noise in the hallway. Hello, everybody. My name is Shannon Barker, and last week we did a little bit of the Anne Green Gilbert moves, and we'll do some more this time too, which involves really developing their body work, mind and body. So we'll do some moves such as following the eyes with the hand and developing that sense of it for baton twirling, and also some parallel versus turned out work for the little ones, and various scarf exercises that develop focus and also the mind-eye coordination. And it's a fun way to learn how to follow through and catch things other than a baton. And probably a quick drum exercise that for those of us that get tired of counting to 8, that another way for them to tune in and really have a good time learning how to develop their sense of rhythm. And bear in the air, if we get to that, that's where we do some basic dance skills in between tossing and catching the bear. And so again, it's helpful to keep their focus when it's not all one thing all the time. So, but yet still having repetition, which in this venue, there won't be quite enough repetition, but hopefully you're able to play with these things in your classes and just pick something out each week, maybe that you might want to try and do. I'm throwing them all at them in a short period of time in a regular class, so I won't be able to stop and chat actually as much as I would love to, but you're all welcome to get a hold of me and ask for any music suggestions or where I get my apparatus at and etc. So I'll be back a little bit later, and again, feel free to contact me about different activities that we're doing and how it applies to baton twirling. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Shannon, very much. All right, we'll see Shannon a little bit later. And right now, I'm really happy and pleased to present Paige Campbell and to hear a little bit of her presentation. Paige, please take over.
Thank you, Thomas. I'm gonna, whoops, unmute myself. Okay, thank you, Thomas. I'm gonna share my screen here too. And as I prepared my presentation over the last couple of days, I wasn't really quite sure how I was gonna go with this, but I'm really excited to share with you all. When COVID started last year, Valley Baton Club was in its 40th year of celebrating trolling excellence here in the Bay Area in California. And it came to an abrupt halt right before we were about ready to host our competition, where I had big, grandiose plans to celebrate and honor not only my mom, but just the sport of baton trolling in general, and the growth that California has made over the last 10, 15 years and continued the trolling excellence. So when I put together my presentation, I said, yeah, I'm just not only keeping it real for the last 8 years since my mom passed away, I'm really keeping it real in COVID too. And I'm really blessed that I have a staff of coaches that work for Valley Baton Club as well. And they're young and experienced, and they've been giving me as much energy as I need, and I've been hopefully giving them as much energy as they need. And that starts me off kind of with my first slide. One thing that I've been really trying to do is be good to myself, and that helps me in turn be really good to my staff and the athletes. And I have a full-time job of being a tutor. And here in California, we are still very much in shelter in place. Many schools are not back social distance learning. Some are, but kids are all in a weird state. So I feel like if I'm keeping myself eating well and sleeping well, if I'm getting exercise and I'm trying to do the things that I love, I'm able to give that 110% or more energy to the kids, and not just our athletes, but to people in general. I really am working to motivate our staff and our coaches with a lot of autonomy and allowing them to teach the things that they think are important too, not just the skills that I feel that are necessary in terms of a bigger trick and try a harder catch. We have a weekly and monthly staff meeting throughout the last couple of months, and I've been really taking our staff's input and implementing that to make our programming better. And then I've been giving some monetary bonuses at times to our staff members too, because they're working harder and differently than they've ever worked before. So I'm spending less time right now on gym cost fees and less, monetary value towards gyms. So I'm feeling like I'm giving some of that monetary value towards my coaching staff. And it's very much appreciated. And the last thing with the athletes, I'm really trying to be organized and consistent, but flexible. We're really trying to challenge them with new material. Like all of my intermediate to advanced kids now know how to do 3-baton, and they all came back in September never knowing I was going to be teaching that to them in the fall. And like the first days of Wednesday practices, their parents are up with the video cameras. They can't believe that their daughter's now or their son's going to be doing 3-baton. It's just in a park, and it just all of a sudden just started blossoming. So don't think that you can't challenge them to other things that they're not doing before. And then of course we're setting monthly goals. And since we don't really have a lot of competitions to be setting goals towards, we're really trying to take our progress towards perfection. Our theme this year is come outside of your cocoon and become the butterfly within yourself. And so we're really trying to take those moments to grow as a person, grow as an athlete, and challenge each other and challenge ourselves. From March to July, when we were in the heart of COVID getting started, I didn't really know where I was going with the club. And we started a Facebook group that was just called Valley Baton Club Shelter in Place. So only the 20 athletes that we currently have in our program are invited to that group. It's not part of our bigger Facebook page. So on that, we've been able to really add lots of information to our students and families. They are then able to share and post, and it's not out super public, it's just within our small group. And some of the things that we did, you guys, we even showed them how to retape their baton. And we sent them all tape, and they all now learned how to do their baton, whether they're 8 years old or 18 years old. They've all learned how to tape their baton. They all don't do it very well because we've noticed now that the center of the baton is not always the center of the baton because they measured it off the tape. It's really funny. But we also did, how can you make a proper bun? So how can you do it with short hair or long hair? And we had some of our coaches make little tutorial videos. Some of the most recent things that I've been sharing is USTA has the STEM videos going that Jenny Hanna has been producing. They're just so informational and so informative that kids need to see that and see how science and math and all of that relates to baton twirling. And then we have a champion here explaining it to them who's intelligent. My gosh, we're getting women, science, math, and baton twirling all in one. And I can just link it into my shelter in place video, Facebook group. We're having those weekly staff meetings, and now we're down more to kind of monthly staff meetings than we were when we were in the heart of COVID. We had a combination of the week where each day something new was being taught or a trick of the day. We thought that that went okay, but what really went well was our 10 weeks of Spirit Weeks. Okay, so we had everything from Mismatch Monday, Twirling for College Tuesday, Wacky Sock Wednesday, Twinning Thursday, Flannel Friday, but it encouraged the kids to go out and practice. And each day when they were practicing in their flannel or their wacky socks, they would post us a little video or send us a picture through that Facebook and group. And it was just wonderful to see them. And one girl made this like cowboy hat out of paper, and she was doing her 2 spins with it. It was the funniest thing, and everyone just loved it. Little brothers were getting involved. So think about those Spirit Weeks. If you need some ideas, I'll be happy to send you all 10 of ours because you don't need to reinvent the wheel. You can just pick and choose what you'd like. And another super successful thing that we did from March to July that I actually learned from Gina's Gems, Gina Jeffords, they were doing scrunch time in their studio. And so I went online to Amazon and bought 65 scrunchies, 2 packs of 65. So I had 130 scrunchies for less than $40. And I was passing them out every time they were catching tricks. We were sending them to the mail at the time. I have extras now when we're having our shelter in place lessons. But scrunch time was a big time catch time, I'll tell you that. Okay, and it was really fun to watch what they were doing in June and July. And then one of the things we did, because we missed a week when this all started, was I held just a club clinic. And I hired 3 out-of-state instructors. And with those instructors, we held an hour's worth of class, and they went to 3 rotations. We played a game. We had a kind of a stretch. It went great. But to have those guest instructors come in and then to learn from someone else was a real positive aspect. And then over to the other side of my slide here, I just put all of the activities that we participated in. And some of these are USTA sponsored. Some of these are personal sponsored, like the Go Long Challenge came from Rebecca Lance. And of course, World Baton Twirling Day. Some of you have even seen my boyfriend involved with me on that. But if they can see me out there having fun, then they want to join in too. And the last thing on my list there is Adeline Bebo has a Be Bold Club. And I had quite a few members that had that as an offering, and they joined that. And they're enjoying taking some additional classes and things too during the week that are not from, our Valley Baton Club. Now, what happens from August to now? It's going daily and weekly. It's been awesome. I worked with the San Jose Business Bureau to get a permit for a local park. So on Wednesdays, our designated day that we always have baton, we're still on our Wednesday. And we are at a local park where a lot of sports is going on. And it's really been great because we're doing small group class sizes, less than 12 students, including our coaches. And we revised the schedule now, even with the time difference. And it's accommodating all the COVID regulations. Our students love wearing the masks. They love sanitizing their baton, and they get their temperature taken right when they come in, and they have to do some hand sanitizer. And then they're off to class, and we're running it like we normally would. We have our couple of minutes of warm up. We start with some of our drills. We've been working really, really hard on revolution in our class and getting full revolutions, as well as working on our technique and proper body. We have 3 models that we're working on. We're doing a social distance class, of course, at the park, and then we're doing a Zoom class, and those levels are happening about at the same time. It's a 4 o'clock time frame where I have one coach at home, and she's Zooming in with kids, and then I have another set of coaches at the park, and they never interact with each other, but they do a very similar lesson plan. And then we have one class that's more of a hybrid model, where I never knew a year ago I needed a tripod to set up my iPod at a park, but we have one coach and a student or two at home, and then they are Zooming in at the same time that we're having our live class at the park. And whoever's our lead instructor as the rotations are happening basically has the camera with them, and they are leading that group with the at-home Zoom instructor. We're doing literally some amazing things outside of our lesson and in our outside lesson time. What I'm really loving is I never knew that I could save thousands of dollars on gym fees and twirl out at the park really from September to November in California. And we are getting so much community recognition. People didn't know, of course, that the sport still exists. The other night we brought out our LED batons and we started twirling 2 and 3 batons with LED batons. Some little boy came over to me at the park the other day and said, I think I've seen you in a parade. What is this called? And so we're actually having lots of free advertising too. We haven't gotten any new members yet, but we have passed out quite a few business cards. And one of the best parts I've loved is one of my students knows that, well, all of my students know that USTA is doing a Helping Hands project. But one of my students noticed that there's a lot of litter at our park. And so she's now organizing with me for a November time frame at the end of the month to have our students go and pick up some of the trash that's in the park that we're practicing at. And she's made her own flyer and all of that. And to see her see that there's a community problem in the community-based area that we're doing it, and that I'm able to take her idea and hone it into something that she thinks she can manage. And this is a freshman in high school. So I'm talking about giving people the autonomy. They need that right now, whether it's my coaches, whether it's our athletes, okay, and whether it's myself. You know, you need to be able to have some ownership of some things and take pride in what you're doing. I also have a list there of things that we've participated in and things we are going to be participating in. And our athletes are really setting those monthly goals right now. And they are not necessarily competing every weekend or every month, but they are showing their routines, mainly their solos and their two batons, to another coach, to an evaluator, to a competition, judge. Somewhere they're getting some of the feedback. Most recently, they did the trick or twirl competition, and it was just really phenomenal. Even one of my students won the decorated baton. She thought that was amazing. Same child also won the USTA coloring costume competition. Now, neither one of those did she toss it up and show her one spin yet, but she is motivated, okay? And it's because she can color, and it's because she can decorate her baton. And I'm telling you, I thank USTA and I thank other organizations that are now giving these kids these opportunities to do this. And it's just been so powerful. The things that I want to encourage you guys to do, keep attending USTA's webinars and social events. We need to see each other. We have lots of things we can offer each other. I've been learning from so many other coaches. I did not create 10 weeks of Spirit Weeks on my own. I started learning a little bit more from Cassie Broadway, and I just took her ideas and we manifested them bigger into our own. I have 2 things that I have shared with other coaches these last couple months, and that's our 100 squares. So I linked that here if you'd like to look real quick. I'm happy to email and send it to anyone. All we do is we write the athlete's name on the top, we put their challenge trick, and they have to catch 100. This one's actually our 400 chart because I've got 2 pages of 100. So it's really a fun way for the kids to keep track, and it's one way for the kids to have the autonomy, but the ownership. They bring that sheet back to us. We have a little sticker for them. We have a little prize for them, maybe. Just depends what's going on. But this one is probably one of our most successful, and it's called the bingo sheet. And I certainly have 4 different levels of it, and you can take any level you want and then make your boxes your own. But it literally, they first try to get a diagonal, or they do 4 corners, and eventually they want to try to get the whole black out. But it's everything from practicing your compulsories to catching your long arm rolls and angel rolls to catching your first 10 high toss cartwheels in a row, whatever you want. But you just fill in the boxes. They go in through and do all the, completing of them. And they didn't realize they were practicing as much because they were having fun, okay? And I really want to encourage you to get involved in your state council. I know I've taken a few years away from our state council, and now I have a boyfriend, and lots of life is different. But I've been getting more involved in my council this year and bringing back a lot of strong ideas to the California Baton Council. So I encourage you too to get involved with your council because you will be able to not only make a change, but you'll be able to share ideas that potentially others haven't thought of right now. And one of the ones that we're doing is called Chat with a Champion. And we've been having game nights with the California Baton Council as well. And so those are opportunities that kids can gather socially without having to have the baton in their hand as well. So that's my presentation. I hope I didn't really get too much, like our training is pretty much the same as it always is. You know, we are gonna come back. I just set a goal to just keep our kids learning how to twirl. That's what my mom would have said. Teach them how to twirl. And boy, are we twirling, man. There's some good stuff going on and I'm excited. Yeah, we don't have to have 7,000 routines. We just have to be good at what we can do. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Paige Campbell.
Yeah.
Really inspiring. Thanks very much.
My pleasure.
And now we're going to hear from Monica Lee and do a little tech work. Monica, you're muted.
Sorry, thank you, Tom. So I'm just going to take you through a resource that is available to you as a USTA member, or just as, you know, any member of the public. This is a spin-off of the USTA website called USTA Knowledge Central. This is a hub where we provide extra resources, extra articles, you know, links to videos that might be informative to you and applicable to your coaching, judging, twirling, educational needs, professional needs in twirling. So we have gone through this a couple of times in past meetings, and I do want to show you some specific resources, but just I wanted to recap also how to access it. So if you go to the USTA website, there is a link for Knowledge Central down here at the bottom of the left sidebar. If you click on that, then you'll be taken to Knowledge Central. Knowledge Central is where we have all of the articles that you can click on and read. You can also subscribe so that if we ever post a new article, then you will receive that in an email. In addition to the articles, we also have special access to educational materials for USTA professional members. And for how to access those materials, you can click on that note underneath professional resources. It will take you to an article that explains how to get there. But I'm going to show you visually right now. If you go back to the USTA website and you click on members only to access our members only section, because remember, this is only for professional members. Then after you've logged in, you'll click on documents on the left. Okay. And then within documents, you're given a number of different tags to search by. You're going to want to click on the professionals tag. And again, this is here in this article, so you don't have to memorize it now, but I'm just showing you. Click on professionals and click on search. And then there will be a document here that will give you the login information to access the professional member resources. Because once you click on this, then it will take you to our learning management system, where we host a lot of resources, including resources only specific to our professional members. Okay, I'm going to stop right there and just check our chat, see if anybody had any questions. No, we didn't. Okay, great. I'm going to go ahead and go on. All right, so one of the resources that I wanted to show you was that we have compulsories and movement techniques videos available for you as a professional member. And so you can click on the compulsories and movement technique link. You can get to it by clicking on it on the home page. you just scroll down. It's one of the courses that are available to you, Compulsories in Movement Technique. Or on the right-hand side of the page, it is also under resources, which is not showing right now, but it's there. So either way, you can see it here, and you can click on that. And then we have the written descriptions of the compulsories in PDF format so that you can read the written descriptions, because remember, the written descriptions are always the source of truth when it comes to compulsories and movement technique. Okay. And we also have videos of each of the classes of compulsories and movement technique in different links. So for instance, if I click on Class A Compulsories, then it will take me to a page where I can view each of the videos. So there is an intro in philosophy, which kind of talks about the philosophy for that level. Then the demonstration videos, where they show what the compulsories will look like in its final product. And then the instructional videos, where they show how to teach the compulsory, where the demonstrator is facing the back so that you can be facing the same direction as the demonstrator. And there's voiceover that provides vocal instruction and take you through it step by step. Okay. So that's one of the very useful resources that are available to you in Knowledge Central as a professional member, along with some others. But that's one that I use quite often, not just when I'm teaching, but also when I'm judging, to just refresh my memory of what I'm looking for and, what the different levels look like. Okay.
Thank you very much, Monica.
You're welcome.
Really appreciate that, and seeing it in person helps a great deal as well. I think I was telling you about our meeting when I realized, when it was pointed out to me that Shannon was on the screen already. And so the other parts of our meeting today we're going to have some open time for discussion, and Jackie's going to facilitate that. And then at approximately 6:15, Shannon's going to come back, and we're going to have the last part of our meeting today, an opportunity to observe that part of her lesson that she was previewing for us. So, Jackie, take over.
Okay, Paige. I
Yes.
need you as my assistant.
I'm
Here.
here. First question?
Okay. I'll tell you, yes. We really wanted to query you, to those of you that are in attendance, to get a sense of the direction we should go with the mentoring program, some things that you need as coaches, things that we can do to help you out more. So we have some questions here, and I'm gonna ask Paige to ask one, and then I will be calling on someone to answer. And
Okay.
no pressure, we're just trying to get some feedback here.
Absolutely.
There's no right or wrong answers.
So the first question would be, if you were meeting with your mentor right now, what would the most pressing question or issue be for you?
I'm gonna ask, does anybody have something they'd like to offer up for that before I call on somebody? Yes, no, maybe so. Okay, Madison Ice, I'm calling on you.
Jackie, how did I know you were about to call on me?
Because I knew you'd answer.
Oh my gosh.
And you're a young coach. You're just, pretty much starting out. And so, yeah, what you got?
Okay, so my question would be, what are some ways to keep my twirlers interested and engaged? Because I feel like we're doing all of these kind of like fun activities, and we're putting a lot out there on social media for our kids to do, but then we get little to no engagement back. And the only time they're really like participating or showing interest is if we're all in person together. So like, how can I keep them motivated if like Ohio and West Virginia go into a shelter at home phase again? So how do we keep them motivated at a distance, virtually, I guess?
That's a good question. I have personally found when doing in those kinds of situations where you're teaching virtually is that you have some kids that really respond to it in a positive way, and then you have others that check out. And what I have done is, first of all, talk to their parents and try to see if I can work out something with them where they can participate in, in a way that their parents kind of get involved in it. I think another thing that matters with that is what level they are and how long they've been twirling, what age they are. I think that matters. And you kind of have to gauge it from that. Paige, do you have anything else to offer?
The two things that popped in my mind, one is when we were doing our full Zoom classes, I was able to do some smaller breakout rooms. And so I could send a coach with 3 or 4 kids, and then I would rotate the coach, and the kids would stay in the small breakout room. So that kind of allowed for kids to kind of flourish and shine in their smaller group than be in the bigger group of 8 or 9 or 10. And the other thing, if and when you are doing your virtual lesson, you can still give those carrots and that dangle and, the incentive. What I mentioned earlier when we used scrunch time, that was truly in June, and our kids were training either in their house or still out on their cement with no social distance learning at all with, us. And we were really challenging them. Let's get 3 elbow pops. Who can get 3 elbow pops today? And then they're all encouraging themselves. We finally had a girl catch a high toss cartwheel. Everyone celebrated in that success. And so we are really trying to use the whole club as we're growing, not just you did a personal best there. It's like, we all helped you catch that high toss cartwheel. Trust us, we did. So those kinds of things to try to build the club unity still too.
Good. Okay.
Awesome. Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. Another question, does anyone have anything else? Because the other question could be, does anyone else have some successes that students and or your coaches, your group has been having in the fall?
Okay. I will say this, just to remind everybody, when Monica was on the Knowledge Central, we did have Corey Cruz wrote 3 different articles on doing Zoom lessons, and those have now been posted upon Knowledge Central. And so you can really go read through those and get some ideas on how to teach that way effectively. So that might be
The third one is coming next week. The first 2 are out already.
All right. Thank you. Okay, Paige, give us another one.
Okay, no one else has a success story to share? Our success is just waking up each day, living our best COVID lives. We are doing it. All right. Ooh, okay, so when deciding each week what to teach, virtually or in person, is there a curriculum you're trying to follow? How have you changed your curriculum? What are some of the things you're still doing the same, or what have you done differently? I know in Valley Baton Club, we use the CAS system as a real strong base of our recreational program. So that is still very much part of our program. As it transitions into our competitive program, I've been encouraging my students to go to the CAS evaluations with USTA. Potentially, we might be able to host our own meet. But I really feel like using the CAS system is a nice, consistent thing for them to continue to focus on and move up, whether or not they're ever going to be a freestylist or not.
All right, I'm going to call on Audrey Moore because I know that they have been doing classes and have continued. They've been fortunate enough to be able to get in a facility. And so Audrey, what do you have to add to that?
Well, in listening to all of this, I feel very lucky because we have our own facilities. So we have not had to go outside or brave through the weather. So I'm feeling extremely blessed, you know, in listening to all of this, because we, you know, we were shut down like everybody else was. And then we were able to start up little by little. We started with one-on-one, where it was just one teacher and one lesson. And then eventually we were able to go to classes. But I actually called the health department and talked to them directly, told them exactly what I was doing, you know, and how many kids I had and what I needed to do just to be safe. And they were so helpful. Listen, we didn't want you to have any more than 6 kids in a class. You have to stay 6 feet apart. They have to have temperatures. We wiped our hands, we wiped our batons, we wiped our shoes before and after. We still don't exchange. We still are not kind of doing that. We definitely handle, because I have classes where, hello, this is my baton and I'm just learning how to maneuver it, classes. And then we have our beginner teams. And then of course I have my higher level competition kids. I never had a problem with the higher level competition kids because I think they still knew that somehow, some way they needed to stay motivated themselves. So they kept themselves going. It was, and the Learn to Twirl kids, they were just having fun doing anything. It's that middle, it's those kids in the middle that you had to come up when, you know, and I'm listening to all these games. I love the scrunchies. I'm going to go tomorrow. I'm buying about 100 scrunchies online because that to me was like wonderful. But it's those middle of the road kids that are done with learning how to twirl, that just started into competition and they don't have anything to kind of look forward to. So what we've started to do is every 3 months, we're going to hold our own competition in the studio. And we've taught a basic solo routine, just with the basics. And then we're going to have a little contest. And of course, everybody has those extra trophies that they don't know what to do with. So they're going to bring them in and we're going to hand them out and kind of do that. So that's kind of where we're headed at. We're lucky we have a mall show coming this Saturday that they've asked us to do. And as long as our Governor DeWine doesn't shut everything down, which it looks like we're headed for, we're going to be able to do a mall show where the kids can actually get up on stage and kind of do something. So we've been lucky. I have to say we've been really lucky.
Well, thanks, Audrey. That was informational too, and might help some other people. I'm going to ask Elaine Russell to share a little bit of what they've been experiencing. Elaine?
Hi, I'm Tammy. I'm just filling in for my mom today. She is still teaching classes, so I figured I would hop on for her today. We also, as well as Audrey, have been very fortunate. We do have our own buildings. We have 4 locations currently, so we are very fortunate here in Pennsylvania that we are able to still be able to teach at a very reduced rate, obviously. So we have ballet classes all the way through Zumba and obviously our baton twirling. So what we found most difficult is being able to use the equipment. So ballet bar, you know, using chairs to be able to do skills and wiping everything down and just having the ability to be able to teach, but yet have obviously not be able to use the equipment that we've been typically used to being able to do. So we have really kind of changed our focus on what we're teaching. We do have our camera set up for all of our classes because we do have many students that are still home as well. So we have our in-person classes and on Zoom that run every day of the week. So what we've found is that we've really changed our practice into learning more skills and kind of working towards learning sections so that those sections, if and when we're able to compete and to perform, we'll be able to use those skills in the routines. because a lot of the students found that learning on the computer, some of them were doing it backwards and some of them were facing the wrong way. And that was really a challenge coming back, being able to, especially for, like Audrey said, the newer students and those that are just learning, a horizontal and a figure 8, to really be able to get those skills. So we've almost changed our practice and how we're doing it, and really just teaching those skills and having the kids be as positive as they can. We've done a lot with big sister and little sister. So really just having the students pair up and be partners with each other and have someone there that can give them that positive feedback to really be able to continue and look forward to the goals and the future that we can't wait to get back to competing.
Good. Thanks.
Yeah.
That's good too.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's all we have time for. So Thomas, I'm going to take it back to you. And Tammy, it was good to see you.
Thank you very
Great
much.
to see you.
Thanks very much for all of that. Shannon, welcome back. Go for it.
Thank you. And the whole class is here too. Say hello, everybody. And this is a real life class, so literally anything can happen. Right, you guys? We're going to start with our low space and high space. Everyone do something in high space. Make a form in high space. Excellent. Make a form in middle space. Make a form in low space, really low. Excellent. And now make a form again in high space. Super duper. Stay right there. Janelle, come here. For those of you, do your pose in high space. For those of you in the baton world, all of you over there watching, this is Janelle. This is Donna McAtee's granddaughter and Kendra's daughter. So there you go. All right, baton towards the dancers. Stand in first position. Today we were working on parallel and turned out, weren't we? So turn out your legs. Go ahead and hold your ball in front, up, lift it up, plie, and we're turned out. Now do parallel, 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 parallel. All right. Passe in parallel. What is it? Passe parallel. And back down here, plie. Arms out. Passe in parallel with the other leg. Good. Point your foot while you're at it. Excellent. And plie. Turned out. Your legs are turned out. Hold on to that beach ball. Now do a passe turned out. Yes. Just your foot touching. And plie. Turned out. Who's turned out? Me. You are. You are. Okay, you are. Great. Arms up here. Turn out. Passe with the other leg. And down. Okay. Excellent. Go ahead and get your scarves. Go back to that same spot. Where we are all socially distanced, aren't we? Hold your arms out. You two back up a little bit. And I'm going to put on some music, but meantime, make up whatever you want with these. Okay, folks. Crisscross in first position. Up high. Down low. Good. Together. Parallel, aren't they? Yeah. Parallel front and back. Make our feet parallel. Excellent. Now turn out, get near the lunge, and do our swing, sway all the way around. And swing, swing, all the way around. Do it again. I'm watching for pointed feet. And the other way, reach way up. Way up. Nice. All right. Nice. Circle with the scarves going in. This is one of my favorites, going inward. Stand in first position parallel. And now make them go outward and turn your legs out. above. Let's try doing this while you're in a process. The other direction, other way. You got it. Figure eight, parallel. And now crisscross. Good luck on this one. You're doing it. Cross. Crisscross, so it's a big figure eight. Big, there you go. All right, circle forward. One at a time. Backwards together. One at a time. All right, toss and catch. Out of class. Under your leg. Behind your back. Do your favorite one. Tap and turn. All right, one foot out in front of you. This time turn all the way around. Try adding a top to it. Good luck. You got it. Pause or a clap. There you go. This time, feet here. Reach up. Wait, and don't catch it until it's almost to the ground. Yeah. Good to see all these palms up. Go with the start. With the start. Yeah. Now catch it some strange place. Good. On both arms. Oh, you can do a flower one. All right. Hit a form in low space. Hit a form in mid space. High space. And walk over to your drum and grab it. Once you get to your spot, you make sure that you have plenty of room and start pounding away. And raise. All of you back up just a tiny bit. And start in and straddle. First listen. You hear that? All right. I have a little more environment. Really straight. Yeah. Have your toes up. Bend your knees, wag your tail. Slowly turn in a circle while you wag your tail. Nice. Ready? Feet apart. Feet together. Close as you can get. Ready? And 1, 2, 3. Walk on back here. You flag it in your tail. All right, what's that over here? And do whatever you want. Go. Sitting in a comfortable position there. Got it. That was superb. Say that word. So if someone asks you how you did tonight, you're going to say superb. Yeah. All right. Everybody clap for yourself. Okay. Thumbs up. Pat on your back. All right. Say thank you, Deanna. Thank you, Deanna. You're welcome. Thank you, everybody. Feel free
Thank
to
you
call
very
us.
much, Shannon.
Bye.
Appreciate it a lot. See ya.
You're welcome.
Well, there you have it. Not much baton in that lesson, huh? Any questions or comments from anyone? We only have a few minutes, but if anybody has any comments or question, please feel free. And let's not be so formal, everybody. We mostly know each other.
Thomas, it's Kyle.
Hey, Kyle.
I just wanted to take a minute to, I've spent the last 5 hours with college kids, and they are just so positive, so hopeful, so resilient. And I think we are so accomplishment oriented, and we're so looking at what we're missing and looking at how to adjust. And I think that more than anything, these kids have adjusted, and we can all do the best we can, but overall, what I'm learning through all of this is that they're adapting and they're keeping their chin up. And I spent a lot of time leaving rehearsals like sad, pretty sad that we were doing things, but I knew what they were missing. And above all, these kids want to be safer than most adults I know. And they are just doing amazing things. And so they're going to come out of this going, yeah, we did that. We did 2020 and look what we learned. So I think sometimes I know personally, I just need a little bit of an adjustment, and that it's not the same and it's not what we're used to, and we don't feel like we're doing anything, but every day we adjust and find new ways, we're doing amazing things. So I just wanted to be the rah-rah cheerleader. I think that especially this organization has done some pretty amazing things. So just keep it up, everybody.
Thanks, Kyle. The word inspirational has occurred to me more times this past summer and fall than ever before. It's really been truly inspirational. Anybody else that want to say anything, ask anything? Well, I want to give you Shannon's email just in case you have any questions. She meant what she said. It's shannonbarker@gmail.com, but she spells her first name S-H-A-N-O-N, last name Barker@gmail.com. If you have any questions, she'd welcome them, I know, and would get back to you as well. And our next meeting is going to be December 8th. And I hope that you will take the opportunity to join us. We'd like very much to talk about mentoring, and there'll be more information on this coming out later as we move along. It's a busy season, I know, so appreciate the time that you spend making our time here valuable. Thank you, everybody. Sandy, any last comments?
No, just happy Thanksgiving, everyone, and hope to see you in December.
Great. Thanks, everybody.
Great job. Loved it. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Thanks, Sherry.
I had a question. Monica, maybe you can answer it. I got my membership fixed and I've like signed it. I have the professional membership now, but when I log in on the USDA website, there's nothing in documents for me. Like where you were clicking tags earlier, I don't have that.
Okay.
And like I was looking for the new strut music because my little one's getting a USDA strut and I can't get the music for her. I'm playing Facebook every time. So I just don't know who should I email or message or something. I don't know what's going on there because mine's off.
Yeah, you can email me and I will get your question over to the person who can help. I'm putting my email address into the chat right now, but it is also monica@ustwirling.com.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry about that, but we'll get that figured out for you.
No problem. Thanks.
You're
Have a
welcome.
good day.
I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording now.